Hello, my lovelies. I hope you're all well. So, as you're probably aware, Andrew and Tristan Tate have had their jail time extended without charge. His lawyer spoke to Piers, so that is what we are going to watch now.
Well, next, Andrew Tate will spend the next month behind bars in Romania after losing the latest appeal against his detention. Tate and his brother Tristan are being held as part of an investigation into rape and human trafficking. They're speaking outside court.
They've now added money laundering onto the list of charges, which I expected them to do because I figured if they couldn't make the human trafficking or anything else stick, then the one thing that they could probably get him on is some kind of money situation. That is what they were going to go after him for, was money.
He's done nothing wrong.
You know I'm innocent. There's not much justice in Romania.
Well, the pack is still with me. Plus, joining me now is the lawyer for the Tate brothers, Tina Glandian, who is in Romania. Well, welcome to you, Ms. Glandian. I really appreciate you joining me. Where are we with this case? It seems that every now and again this pops up back on television with them being remanded for further
So this is their American lawyer, I believe. They have a male Romanian lawyer, and then this lady has been brought on because they are US citizens. That's as I understand it anyway.
How long can that process continue before a charging decision is made?
Under Romanian law, they have up to 180 days, which is in 30-day increments.
Wow.
So every time there's a 30-day detention order, they're allowed to renew their request and have it extended for an additional 30 days, but not to exceed 180 days.
Jeez.
Okay. You've taken on this case. Andrew Tate has been repeatedly bellowing his innocence as he's been led in and out of these court hearings and so on. Do you believe them? Do you believe that he and his brother are innocent?
At this point, Piers, they've had this investigation going since April. We're now February, and there are not even charges filed against them. So this is a huge injustice the way we see it. They should not be detained.
It's certainly not looking good for the actual case itself, is it? When it's been going on so long and they have yet to even charge them with anything. It doesn't really look like they have too good a case.
At this point, we think it's now crossed over to the point where it's violating international human rights law, because the deprivation of your liberty pre-trial is the most severe form of punishment a state can
I would agree with
impose.
that.
And that's what they've done in this case. And they've had a very lengthy investigation with the government's resources. They've been analyzing and looking at all of their devices since April when they seized everything. And here we are,
Yeah,
February.
see, if they've had access to all this stuff since April, how have they not got enough evidence by now to charge them? That's what is irking me about this case. I mean, I'm a big proponent of innocent until proven guilty anyway. But if they've been investigating this so long and they've had access to everything, because they've got cameras all over the house and outside the house as well, they've taken some of their cars and everything, you would think that they would have enough evidence to charge them, but they haven't. It's very strange.
Charges aren't filed. So I think there's absolutely no evidence that's been presented, and that's our position.
How are your clients at the moment? How is Andrew Tate dealing with incarceration? I mean, I interviewed him just before Christmas. We had a long, wide-ranging interview.
Yes.
And once again, I was struck by the phenomenal following that he has online, particularly with young men. You know, he has an enormous following there.
And women.
You and I know this has been whipped up now by that community into a huge framing of a narrative that this is complete injustice. There are others who think this has been a long time coming, that he's a bad human being and that he's going to face very serious charges, and that will be the last we see of him.
If they are bad people and they are guilty, take them to damn trial, charge them and take them to trial. But the fact that they are just keeping them incarcerated without charge, that is what is fueling the conspiracy.
How is he faring right now given that at the moment he's in this limbo land of no charging but being held in incarceration.
The brothers are both very strong, they're resilient, and they're holding up, but obviously the conditions are not good. They're in a Romanian jail cell, and they've been detained for a very lengthy period at this point. They have limited access to their attorneys. It's not a good condition for them.
You've obviously represented a lot of people.
And as far as...
Sorry, please finish.
I was going to say, to your second point, they're controversial public figures, but that's not a crime. And at this point, we have not been
Look at
provided any...
Tristan just caning that wine just made me laugh.
They've committed any crimes, nor have they even been charged. So I would ask that people presume them innocent as they are.
Do they feel that they are being tried in the court of public opinion?
They know they've been
I
tried
recently
in the
joined
court of public
forces
opinion.
with the Daily Wire.
I think the public is divided, as you know. I think they have a big following, but at the end of the day, yes, I think there is a lot of information in the public. I think there's a lot of false allegations in the public. I think some evidence has now been put forth. Again, I don't want to comment too much on the facts of the case since there is an ongoing criminal investigation. However, I think there has been evidence put out, videos and other statements for the public to see what the supposed state of the evidence actually is.
It's been interesting to watch Andrew Tate's Twitter feed in particular, that he's continued to tweet. Is he doing that himself?
It won't be
Has he
him,
got
it'll
people
be...
doing that for him? And how do you feel from a legal point of view? Is it a wise tactic to continue to do that on social media when you're being held in custody by the Romanian authorities?
Well, again, he doesn't have access, so he's not doing anything directly. And what's being put out is on his accounts, and I'm not going to speak as to, the source of the posts and what's being put out, but I think, again, as of now, he's not charged with anything, and he's free to comment publicly if he wishes to.
Yeah. They've obviously, we know that they seized nearly £3.5 million in cash, 11 luxury sports cars, guns and other weapons. Are any of the things that have been seized from the property, are they in themselves acts of law breaking, just the possession of any of these things?
No.
To my knowledge, they're not. I think if they were, they would have been charged with crimes. Again, they had the initial search in April, and it's February. It's been 10 months, and no charges have been filed whatsoever. We have an ongoing criminal investigation for which this is a preventative detention, which is why they're in custody. Again, this is the most severe form of punishment. I don't think it's justified under these circumstances where the prosecution hasn't set forth enough evidence to charge them, and yet they are detained, and it's being prolonged.
But you do accept, of course, that if the women who've come forward here as part of the investigation, if they're telling the truth, these are very serious allegations against your clients, which could lead to charging.
They are
if they led to
serious
charging,
allegations.
could lead potentially to long prison sentences if found guilty.
Certainly the crimes at issue are very serious crimes, and I think, Piers, actually it was on your show when you interviewed Tate several months ago. He made very strong statements about his position on rape, and he condemned rape, and he said it was disgusting, I'm pretty sure the word he used, and he said he thought that somebody who does that deserves the death penalty. So there's no question that these are serious charges, and even in his own words, they're very serious charges. They're just...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that some girls have come forward who have been involved with both Andrew and Tristan, and they have said that they've been offered money to put out false allegations against them. So it's not a massive stretch of the imagination to conclude that perhaps, and I'm only saying perhaps because we don't know the whole truth, perhaps these allegations are not truth. There is a chance that these people have been paid. That's all I'm going to say. There is a chance that they're true, and if they are true, then the brothers need to be charged accordingly and taken to trial. And if it's true, then they will get convicted and be given prison time, I'm sure. But honestly, I can't imagine someone who would be guilty of that kind of crime sitting on television and saying that people should be, deleted for committing that crime.
Evidence that they committed these crimes.
But we've also had tapes which have emerged in the last few weeks of him talking about rape to a woman in a pretty unsavory manner. So what is your response to that?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. You said what surfaced?
There have been various tapes have surfaced in part of media investigations in the last few weeks, including Andrew Tate talking about rape to a woman in a pretty unsavory manner. So
I didn't listen to any of that.
What would your reaction be to that?
First of all, I think the authenticity of anything that is presented through the media as opposed to turned over to the defense needs to be questioned because material is edited and it's easily manipulated. So first, I would say that.
And
secondly,
easily forged in this day and age. I mean, I'm pretty sure a streamer just got deep fake porn made about her. And that's insane, isn't it? This poor girl. Someone has made deep fake porn, like just putting her face on someone else's body, I would imagine. But that's horrendous. That with the technology these days, there are things you can do.
I don't think certain text messages, I'm not here to judge or to talk to people's desires or fetishes, but certainly somebody could easily set someone up by saying they have certain fantasies, they want certain things done to them or said to them. And so there's a lot that goes into. You can't take a text message out of context. You first have to know, first of all, the entire context of it and what the background is. There needs to be explanation.
True.
So I think you have to keep all of that in mind when.
Just like when the video of him with the ex-girlfriend came out and everyone was screaming about him beating up women, and then it turned out that it was basically that was what she was into, kind of thing. But don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Seeing something in the media.
We do, and we have to keep in mind also the judge's reasoning for all this. They explained on the 20th of January that they viewed the particular dangerousness of the defendants and their capacity to identify victims with increased vulnerability in search of better life opportunities. So all of this has to be taken into account. But it goes on, and as you rightly say, at the moment there have been no charges against your clients. And until or if that point arrives, we're in a world of allegation, not actual charges.
Correct. And right now, exactly, there's a presumption of innocence that every accused has, and that attaches from the time you're even charged. And here, we're not even there. They haven't even charged them with crimes. So any sort of comments as to their alleged dangerousness, there's no evidence of that. There isn't even a presumption of that. They need to be presumed innocent, and that hasn't happened in this case.
Well, they're not being treated like that, are they?
A lack of evidence, and they are being detained unlawfully at this point.
Tina Glandian, I appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. It's just a very, very odd situation, isn't it? It's a very, very odd situation. But like I said, if the allegations are true, then hey, take them to trial. But it's interesting that they have now added the money laundering charge along with the other things, because I could pretty much see it coming. I could see that they probably weren't going to get the trafficking and other charges to stick. So I knew that there would be a money charge involved. I knew they would. Romania is a corrupt country. Well, I mean, they're all corrupt countries. Every country's corrupt in its own ways, but Andrew Tates even said himself that Romania is so corrupt, and that's part of the reason they moved there, was because the corruption was open and free for everybody to take advantage of. So if you live in that country and you are extremely wealthy, like the Tate brothers, you can take advantage of the corruption. I think he may have spoken a bit too much and let a few too many things out of the bag, which may be the reason he's in the predicament he's in now. We don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know. Until they are charged and taken to court and we can actually see the evidence, then yes, we have to presume that they are innocent until proven guilty. But hey, let me know your thoughts Are you a fan of Andrew Tate? Are you not? And I'd love to know your reasons. I think he speaks a lot of genuine truth. I don't agree with everything, but then you're never going to agree with anyone 100% of the time. That's just life. But I'd love to know what your take on Andrew Tate is, and his brother. I actually think his brother's hilarious. If you've ever watched any of the Tate Confidential videos that are floating around YouTube, I highly recommend. Just seeing the banter and everything with them and their friends and their cousin. It's very amusing, and it reminds me a lot of my military days and the banter that we had. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you very soon.